Nightline begins now with me, Liyana Hassanel. News making the headlines. Senior cop injured as Kampung Sungai Baru evictions turn chaotic. And Israel's strike on Yemen killed 35 people a day after bombing Qatar. Good morning. A senior police officer was injured when an eviction process involving 37 homes in Kampung Sungai Baru, Kuala Lumpur turned chaotic on Thursday. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim condemned the use of violence by certain groups to oppose the court-ordered operation, stressing that peaceful assemblies must not be misused for narrow political interests or to create unrest among the people. The commotion occurred at around 9 a.m. when a group of residents, unhappy with the eviction, attempted to force their way past a police barricade after being denied entry to the area. Dangwangi Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Sulizmi Afendi Sulaiman, who was overseeing the operation, sustained a head injury after being struck by an object hurled from the unruly crowd. He was then given emergency treatment by the medical team on standby. The tense standoff lasted for several hours before Federal Reserve Unit (FRU) personnel ordered the residents to disperse. The eviction operation, aimed at facilitating the Kampung Sungai Baru redevelopment plan, was led by a court bailiff with the support of the police and relevant agencies. This marked the second attempt to carry out the operation, following a failed attempt on July 16th. Some of the residents reportedly refused to move despite having received compensation from the developer for the redevelopment project. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has warned that firm action will be taken against any acts of violence that may sow division among the people. Speaking at an event in Limbang, Sarawak on Thursday, Anwar said protests are permitted as long as they are conducted responsibly and do not lead to chaos or violence.
Boleh bantah, boleh tidak setuju. Tapi selagi kita pertahankan cara bermaruah dan aman, kita akan izinkan. Dan sebagai saya, selagi ada mandat, ada saja unsur-unsur yang bawa perpecahan keganasan seperti kita lihat pagi tadi, kita akan bertindak keras dan tegas untuk menghentikan jenayah seperti ini. Negara ini lebih penting daripada sikap satu dua orang yang separuh.
Earlier in a Facebook post, Anwar described the attack on the Dangwangi police chief as a heinous act by irresponsible parties. He said the government respects the right to peaceful assembly and freedom of expression, as consistently demonstrated in previous gatherings. However, he pointed out that this freedom comes with responsibility, requiring strict adherence to the law, order, and civility. He also stressed that violence fueled by sedition, hatred, and misinformation cannot be allowed to take root in society. In another development, Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Ismail revealed that 3 men have been arrested following the incident in Kampung Sungai Baru that left the Dangwangi police chief with a bloodied face.
Ada 3 tangkapan pagi ini, tapi jangan perkara ini pada saya adalah suasana yang mungkin merasakan tidak puas hati dan sebagainya, tapi tindakan ini kita buat berdasarkan undang-undang.
He explained that the eviction operation was carried out following a court order after compensation had been paid to the relevant parties. He emphasized that the situation in Kampung Sungai Baru and Kuala Lumpur remained secure and under control. He added that the injured senior police officer is in stable condition after receiving treatment at Kuala Lumpur Hospital. During a press conference in Kampung Sungai Baru, Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Fadil Marsus confirmed that the 3 suspects who were arrested are not residents of the area. He stressed that strict action would be taken against anyone who provoked unrest, including those responsible for injuring the Dangwangi Police Chief.
Jadi kecederaan yang menyebabkan pegawai saya itu akan disiasat. Ada beberapa tanggapan setakat ini. kita masih lagi siasat dan kita percaya saya tak mau ada di kalangan yang di sini yang saya kenal pasti terlibat dalam aktiviti-aktiviti yang sebegini ni. Yang cuba timbulkan kekacauan, ada kepentingan lain yang mengganggu huru-hara ketenteraman masyarakat. I will go against them all out.
He said the Kampung Sungai Baru residents gave their full cooperation to the authorities, but the eviction operation was marred by provocations from outsiders.
Orang lain yang bukan berkepentingan ambil tindakan yang
Elsewhere in Malacca, Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said his ministry is investigating the possibility that opportunists or political actors were behind the Kampung Sungai Baru commotion.
Kita akan cuba mengesan jika ada elemen yang bersifat datangnya daripada political opportunists yang terang-terang menunggang isu ini untuk menimbulkan ketegangan dan keresahan. Dan sepintas lalu mereka dilihat membela, tetapi sebenarnya tampil dengan menghasut. Sepintas lalu mereka dilihat membela.
Commenting on the Kampung Sungai Baru redevelopment, Titiwangsa Member of Parliament Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani emphasised that developers must provide housing that is affordable for the Malay community. He said developers must understand the uniqueness of Kampung Sungai Baru, and any redevelopment effort must preserve and consider the interests of the community and other original occupants of the land.
Kerana Kampung Baru ini adalah tanah yang telah diberi waktu zaman British lagi oleh Sultan Selangor pada ketika itu untuk orang Melayu. Tetapi kalau nak bagi kepada orang Melayu, kalau you buat rumah yang orang Melayu tak mampu nak beli, maka itu ada jadi masalah.
Expressing regret over the incident where a public servant was injured, Johari also criticized the developer's decision to invoke compulsory land acquisition laws against the 14 families who refused to vacate, calling it irresponsible.
Saya juga akan cuba berjumpa dengan Menteri Wilayah dan juga kalau boleh saya nak jumpa Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri nanti juga. Apabila saya nak memastikan bahawa kawasan ini apabila dibangunkan balik, oleh kerana sejarah tanah ini adalah tanah Melayu di Kampung Baru ini, maka hanya orang Melayu saja boleh beli produk ni daripada developer. Kalau katakan tak ada orang Melayu nak beli, dia kena tunggulah sampai orang Melayu dapat beli.
The Islamic finance system must establish itself as a sector leader by developing competitive and high-impact instruments. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said its strength should be grounded in the principles of justice and social well-being, rather than defined solely by its interest-free status. In his speech at the Global Islamic Finance Award GIFA 2025 held in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday, Anwar noted that Islamic finance should not merely be regarded as an alternative, but as a system full of promise.
Therefore, must not only adapt, introduce instruments that have been used in New York or London, but to lead. Green Sukuk can fund sustainable infrastructure. Digital platform can widen financial inclusion. Social finance instruments such as zakat, waqaf can be scaled up to uplift communities.
At the event, Anwar was also honored with this year's Global Islamic Finance Leadership Award. He attributed the award to unsung heroes who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, sacrificing their time and energy to ensure the growth of the Islamic financial system. On the same stage, the Prime Minister urged the Muslim world to unite and take a principled stand against Israel's arrogance and its attacks on Gaza, as well as its incursions into other countries. Anwar said the Zionist regime's cruelty has thrown the world into chaos through conflict, bombings, and war.
The world, including the Muslim world, seemed helpless to deal with it. And therefore, whilst taking a strong position, a principled stance against Israeli Zionist aggression, colonization, and display of utter arrogance.
Anwar also reiterated Malaysia's commitment to continue taking a firm and principled stance against the injustices of the Zionist regime. On Wednesday, Anwar strongly condemned Israel's airstrikes in Doha, describing them as yet another brazen intrusion and a clear violation of Qatar's sovereignty. He also confirmed that he had been invited by Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani to attend the Emergency Arab Islamic Summit on September 15th, which will, among others, discuss the latest developments in Gaza and the brutal Zionist attacks on the territory. Moving on, the police are awaiting a response from their Indonesian counterparts to help trace the origin of several threatening messages sent to an employee of a liquefied natural gas LNG facility in Bintulu, Sarawak. Inspector General of Police Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Ismail said contact has already been made with the Indonesian police as part of the ongoing probe.
Of course, ini yang terbaik, kerjasama dengan semua agensi-agensi di dalam negara, sama ada Petronas ataupun pasukan keselamatan kita dan juga negara-negara jiran perlu kita laksanakan dari masa ke semasa.
Dah berhubung terus dengan pihak polisi Malaysia?
Ya, kita dah berhubung dan kita menunggu jawapan daripada pihak sana.
On Tuesday, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof said the threats were sent via multiple text messages from a phone number registered in Indonesia. The National Security Council ordered all LNG facilities in Bintulu to tighten their security measures following the threat. The Road Transport Department has launched the Klik Sebelum Gerak campaign to encourage the public to comply with seatbelt regulations. Its Director General, Dato' A.D. Fadli Ramli, said the initiative serves as a preliminary step towards the full enforcement of seatbelt use by passengers in private vehicles. A.D. Fadli said the measure aligns with existing enforcement for express and tour buses under the Motor Vehicle Seatbelts and Child Restraint Systems Amendment Rules 2019.
Kempen ini menzahirkan komitmen JPJ untuk memastikan setiap perjalanan bermula dengan langkah keselamatan paling asas, iaitu pemakaian tali pinggang keledar.
He also said the department is focusing on widespread publicity through social media campaigns and various engagement sessions to raise awareness before full enforcement. The date for full enforcement on private vehicles will be announced after the campaign's effectiveness has been evaluated. Malaysia's labour market is approaching its best performance in over a decade, with 16.95 million people employed as of July 2025. The country's unemployment rate remains at 3% for the fourth straight month, but is projected to decline to 2.9% by the end of next year. According to a TA Securities, a further decline can be achieved if the current momentum continues. The services sector remains the main contributor, followed by manufacturing, construction and agriculture. Mining and quarrying also posted positive growth. Wage earners accounted for 75% of the workforce, exceeding 12 million people in July. The number of self-employed individuals also increased to more than 3 million. Meanwhile, the number of unemployed persons declined by 5.7% year-on-year to 521,000. Thai consumer confidence dropped for a seventh consecutive month in August to its lowest level in 32 months due to concerns about a slow economic recovery, political instability and U.S. tariffs. According to a survey conducted by the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, the consumer index fell to 50.1 in August from 51.7 in July. It said consumer confidence indices have continued to decline across the board, suggesting potential further drops if political stability falters and the economy fails to recover swiftly under government stimulus measures. The survey was conducted before the election of Anutin Charnvirakul as the country's new prime minister last week. Anutin has signalled an intention to revive Thailand's struggling economy in his first cabinet appointments.
Carbon tax is coming. Regional carbon markets are rising. Malaysia stands at a crossroads where climate ambition meets economic reality. The question now, will we shape the future or be shaped by it? Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah speaks with Malaysia Carbon Market Association President Dr. Renard Siu only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
More than 16 million ringgit worth of drugs seized. More from the local front after this breather.
Susah buat pilihan. Boleh tolong saya?
Lelaki itu lemah. Saya ada jin itu. Boleh tunaikan unlimited rewards. Ingatkan lelaki jin tak cukup satu.
Lagi layan dengan Tonton Up. Rewards non-stop. Nak ni, nak tu. Semua untuk korang. Langgan Tonton RM9.90 je. Baru puas.
Nightline continues. The inquest into the death of Zara Karina Mahathir conducted another false simulation on Thursday morning, using two new water-weighted mannequins during a visit to the scene where the late student was found unconscious at the SMK Tun Mustafa dormitory in Papar, Sabah. Water was used in the two mannequins to make both of them weigh the same as the deceased weight of 53 kilograms.
Around 60 people were present, including the coroner Amir Shah Amir Hassan, lawyers, police, as well as witnesses, forensic pathologist Dr. Jesse Hugh, crime scene investigator Inspector Maidon Bernardes, and school staff. The 3-hour scene inspection, which began at 9:30 a.m., saw the school dormitory emptied to make way for the locus in court proceedings. The first simulation, conducted on August 3rd, used a 180-centimeter tall mannequin, 27 centimeters taller than Zara, with bricks strapped around its waist using cellophane tape. Datuk Ram Singh, a lawyer representing one of the 5 accused related to the case, said the mannequin is only used to show the impact of the fall.
Except upon impact, we just want to know the upon impact where the fall was at that time.
Apart from the false simulation, a fire and rescue personnel secured with harnesses was also brought in as part of the demonstration. The simulation included holding the suspended grill, which Dr. Hugh referred to during the second day of inquest, stating that Zara could have used it to swing from before her fall.
Meanwhile, a retired headmaster was charged in the Kota Kinabalu Sessions Court on Thursday for allegedly writing a threatening social media post against an inquest witness. The accused, 61-year-old Kamul Kamarudin, claimed trial after the charge was read before Judge Marlina Ibrahim.
Kamul was accused of committing the offence against forensic pathologist Dr. Jesse Hugh, who is also the first witness in the inquest into Zara's death. The post was allegedly made with the intent to cause annoyance, and the communication was read by Dr. Hugh on September 5th at about 4:15 p.m. at Taman Luyang. The offence under the Communications and Multimedia Act carries a maximum fine of 500,000 ringgit or imprisonment of up to 2 years or both, as well as a further fine of 5,000 ringgit for each day the offence continues after conviction. Initially, Kamul pleaded guilty but changed his plea to not guilty upon hearing the penalty under the provision. The court granted bail of 20,000 ringgit with 2 local sureties and fixed September 29th for case mention. Selangor police busted 2 syndicates trafficking various drugs worth 16.7 million ringgit. State Police Chief Datuk Shazli Kahar said cops also nabbed 5 individuals, including a teenager. In a raid at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 2, KLIA2, on Wednesday, police arrested an 18-year-old suspect with 4.5 kilograms of shabu in his luggage. The teenager, believed to be a drug transporter, was waiting to board a flight to Miri, Sarawak. Following the arrest, 2 other local men were arrested in Kuala Lumpur at 1:10 p.m. on the same day. The duo were arrested with 89 plastic packages containing nearly 86.8 kilograms of shabu and a white container believed to contain liquid meth.
Kita mempercayai bahawa 2 suspek terakhir yang ditangkap ini adalah sebagai pembekal dadah shabu kepada suspek pertama yang ditangkap di terminal. Dan juga bahan ataupun bekalan ini adalah untuk dihantar ke Sarawak.
In another raid on September 9th, authorities arrested 2 men in a luxury vehicle at a traffic light junction in Banting. A total of 30 packages of ecstasy weighing 61.76 kilograms and 3 packages of Airman 5 pills weighing 9.85 kilograms were seized from the vehicle's backseat. Checks on the 2 suspects revealed that both had a prior record for crime and drug-related offences. All 5 suspects were remanded for 7 days to assist in investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Manhunt intensifies for Charlie Kirk's shooter. The details when Nightline returns.
Fatri, kedai makan dekat rumah saya tu pelanggan dia beratur panjang.
Itu mesti pelanggan dengan kuasa review.
Kes bunuh di tempat kerja, jangan sampai jadi mangsa.
Semakin banyak bangunan usang yang terbiar, apakah solusinya?
Ketika ziarah orang sakit atau yang sudah meninggal dunia, adab perlu jadi keutamaan.
Cuti sekolah bakal bermula, uruskan kewangan anda dengan bijak.
Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi.
Stream lagi tonton juga eksklusif di TV3.
Wanita Hati. Sekarang ni di media sosial dijadikan tempat untuk curhat.
Tapi kalau salah curhat, boleh jadi bahaya tau.
Ulam-ulaman banyak khasiatnya.
Macam-macam menu boleh dibuat dengan ulam.
Bila cakap pasal kewangan, ada banyak isunya.
Jadi bagaimana kita nak urus konflik kewangan dalam hidup kita?
Because antara masalah yang kerap dialami oleh golongan wanita.
Sebab itu kita harus cakna dengan tanda-tandanya.
Setiap pasangan perlu ada bahasa cinta masing-masing.
Jadi apa bahasa cinta anda?
Semuanya di WShow TV3.
Dan stream sekarang, ditonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Setiap ujian ada naluri yang mengetuk pintu hati. Dahsyatnya doa keluar rumah.
Kamu mau apa dari saya? Akan saya turuti.
Jin penghalang jodoh. Selamat dari gempa kerana taubat.
Allah.
Tuli kerana meninggalkan solat subuh.
Saya nggak dengar.
Bersihkan jiwa, jernihkan hati dalam slot naluri. Setiap Jumaat 3 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
The foreign front. Israel launched another round of heavy airstrikes in Yemen on Wednesday, killing dozens, just days after Houthi rebels carried out a drone attack that struck an Israeli airport. The strikes reportedly killed at least 35 people and wounded more than 130 others. Most of those killed were in the capital Sana'a, where a military headquarters and a fuel station were hit. The raids also struck civilian and residential areas, including homes in Sana'a's Al Tahrir neighborhood. So far, no one has immediately claimed responsibility for the missile attack.
The Israeli military, in the meantime, has pledged to continue demolishing high-rise residential buildings in Gaza City, where at least 39 Palestinians were killed on Thursday. Meanwhile, Qatar warned that an unprecedented Israeli strike in Doha targeting Hamas has shattered hopes for the release of Gaza hostages. Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani also called for Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu to be brought to justice. His remarks come a day after the deadly strikes on Hamas leaders in Qatar, the first attack of its kind in the Gulf, rattling a region long shielded from conflict. Sheikh Mohammed said Qatar is reassessing everything about its role in future ceasefire talks and is consulting with Washington on next steps. He also confirmed that an Arab Islamic summit will be held in Doha in the coming days to decide on a course of action on the Zionist regime. The Israeli strikes on Tuesday killed 6 people, including the son of senior Hamas negotiator Khalil al-Hayya. In a related development, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has condemned Israel's airstrikes on Hamas leaders in Doha, Qatar. The remarks come after a meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in London, where Starmer called the strike unacceptable and a flagrant violation of a key partner's sovereignty. Turning to the situation in Gaza, the Prime Minister voiced his deep concern and urged Israel to change course. He stressed that Israel must allow humanitarian aid into the territory and halt offensive operations to prevent the worsening of what he called a man-made famine. The rare rebuke marks one of Starmer's strongest criticisms of Israel since taking office in July 2024. Meanwhile, Herzog's visit drew widespread backlash in the UK, with thousands protesting outside Downing Street for a second straight day. In the U.S., heavily armed police on Wednesday continued their search for a suspect in the fatal shooting of influential conservative activist Charlie Kirk during an event at Utah Valley University. Authorities said the suspect fired a single shot from a nearby rooftop, hitting Kirk in the neck as he was speaking at the outdoor student rally. 6 police officers were working security at the event, which attracted at least 3,000 people to the campus, along with private security hired by Kirk. Earlier, 2 people were taken into custody, but police later released them as neither had current ties to the shooting. President Donald Trump, meanwhile, vowed to crack down on those responsible for what he described as a dark moment for America. Turkey prosecutors on Thursday seized control of a 121-company conglomerate, which includes 3 major television stations, and ordered the arrest of 10 of its executives on fraud charges. In a statement, Istanbul's Küçükçekmece prosecutor's office said the conglomerate created an organization to commit crimes through its companies, including fraud, tax evasion, and money laundering. The arrests target senior management at Can Holding, a group with major stakes in energy and education, and which last year acquired prominent TV channels, including Haberturk, Show TV, and Bloomberg Hit. They ordered the detention of the firm's owners while placing the assets of all 121 companies under the state-run Savings Deposit Insurance Fund of Turkey. We begin our sports segment with this story. Experienced Malaysian singles coach Wong Tan Meng is showing signs of stability after a serious motorcycle accident in Sydney on Sunday.
A source close to the 58-year-old former international shuttler described his condition as stable, saying his blood pressure and vital signs are holding steady. While his situation remains serious, it is no longer considered life-threatening. Tat Meng, an avid biker, was critically injured following a collision involving two motorcycles along Putty Road in the Garland Valley region. One rider was pronounced dead at the scene, while Tat Meng was airlifted to hospital and placed in intensive care. The well-traveled coach was instrumental in helping independent shuttler Li Zijia win the men's singles bronze medal at the Paris Olympics last year, before quitting his job and relocating to Sydney to become a club coach.
Still on badminton, only 5 Malaysian representatives left in the 2025 Hong Kong Open, with women's doubles Pearly Tan and Tina taking one step closer to defending their title on Thursday. In the second round match at the Hong Kong Coliseum, defending champions Pearly and Tina easily defeated Indonesia's Febriana Dwi Puji Kusuma Melissa Trias Puspitasari 21-18, 21-17 in just 38 minutes. The World Championship silver medalists will now meet compatriots Goh Pei Ki and Teo Mei Shing in an all-Malaysian quarter-final. Pei Ki Mei Shing advanced to the last 8 after holding their nerve to edge Taiwan's world number 23 Suya Ching Sung Yu Sun 21-19, 21-18. While Pearly and Tina go in as favorites, a tougher contest is expected on Friday amid concerns over their pace and fitness. Also through to the last 8 are men's doubles Wan Arifwan Junaidi, Yap Roy King, mixed doubles Hu Pang Ran, Cheng Su Yin, and men's singles shuttler Leong Jun Hao. However, it was the end of the road for Gozo Fei and Nur Izzuddin Muhammad Rumsani, who fell to Taiwan's Li Fangqi and Li Fangzhen. Line this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at a Dutch tech startup testing its futuristic Hyperloop system, which has set European speed record and could one day reach 700 kilometers per hour. With that, I'm Hassanel. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.